What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. The book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This video is entitled Baby Mama Manipulation Tactics. Um, these tactics, like, one of the things I have to talk about because of this is a lot of people let single mothers get off the hook with a lot of things. And, you do this, it's not all debate. But nobody adds up who it is. And what I mean by that is, there's a way single mothers manipulate the court. There's a way that single mothers manipulate the children. There's a way single mothers manipulate the man's relationship with their child. And there's a way that single mothers try to manipulate the guy's that man, if he has a relationship with another woman. So when you add these things up, then you can get a true number of who's really out here. What are these women doing? Because, person to say, I don't do that, but they may do this over here. So let's start with the court. These single mother manipulation tactic would be to disparage this man in court. And because she may be mad about something that she's not getting what she wants out of of the guy. So, oh, I'm nervous because he might put the child in danger. I'm nervous because, he disciplined the kid and he could have beat them to death. Like, you gotta go over the top. And knowing everybody does this, what's in the best interest of the child thing. But everybody, for the most part, falls in line with the idea, well, because you're a man, because you're stronger, because men are more intimidating than women, what we're gonna do is we're gonna acquiesce to allegations. And we're gonna basically watch the situation and see if these allegations are true, which really does nothing for the father or a child. It just buys time for the mother to get their way. And the courts do this over and over again, to the point where even people who work for the court and people who work for the court, who have to deal with the court, know that everybody knows the game, but we're following the law. But it's really not necessarily the law. It's making a legal simping judgment call. So people will say, do I know a woman who does that type of stuff? Yeah. Or if another manipulation tactic with the court is they get caught red-handed doing things they got no business doing. And you can prove it. And it goes to court. And, here's an excuse. Okay, so they gave her excuse. It's a silly excuse. It's not really that valid. It's irresponsible. But, okay, we got to let this excuse play out and see, if they continue to do this bad habit. And then what winds up happening is you find yourself running back and forth to court if you keep going back and forth to court, because it's just a new bad habit. And until they get the same habit 2-3 times in a row, you really won't get anything done. Nothing will be done about it. So single mothers manipulate the court like that. And people say, oh, I know. If you know people like that, that checks off a box. That add those type of people to your not all category and see the percentage. And then they're the ones who manipulate the children. We don't talk about the way that, since we're operating in what's best for these children, we don't talk about how a lot of these mothers lie to their kids. Oh, your daddy don't want to see you. And the kid, but at the same time, Dad said, I'm going to be there at 7. And at 6 o'clock, she takes the kids to the movies. Oh, your dad ain't going to come by. Kids find this out. If I've had these situations with my son, I'm supposed to, you should be ready by this time. Oh, my mama said you was gonna do this. I never said that I was gonna do that. But she said, that's not what I said. Me and your mother talked. Me and you had a talk. Did you ever hear me say that? No. Did you hear me ever say that to your mother? No. So where did that come from? Uh-oh. The situation, they manipulate the children to feel how can I say this? Single mothers can manipulate their children to be unappreciative. Oh, I do this for you, I do that for you, I'm taking care of you, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm me. To the point where they'll say their mother's doing everything for them when they're not even with their mother. Like, they can actually be with their mother's mother or their mother's sister or their mother's cousin, and they can be actually doing the primary parenting for that child, but the kid would be, my mother's doing it all. It's like, okay, nobody's gonna just address that. And that, that's even not involving the fathers. You get what I'm saying? But that's how deep it goes. That's a part of regular culture, that the kids can be manipulated even with the family, because you've heard kids tell people who are in a family that their mother doing something while they're doing it, while they've been the one doing it for them. So it's ridiculous. Now let's fast forward to how they manipulate the relationship. So you add the other one up too, and see the percentage, and add the first two types up. And then you got the ones that manipulate the children with the relationship. Oh, your daddy doesn't love you because your daddy doesn't do X, Y, Z. Oh, your daddy doesn't come by because your daddy doesn't want to see you. And we skip over the single mothers who change phone numbers constantly, change addresses constantly. Even now they do this. You get what I'm saying? The mothers who hop from one school to the next school. So the mothers who poison the child's view of their father and their father's family. So now when you even get to spend time with your child, it's a deprogramming session for one, and you're dealing with a disrespectful child who is disrespectful to you at the behest of their mother, and they don't even know why. So you don't really get to build a relationship. You get to be around and deprogram them enough to see a different point of view, but it's still a messed up relationship because you can't really bond like that. But people say, oh, that's not a problem. And then you couple that with the fact that's the same thing that goes on with the family. And you know how most guys can tell you, the funny part about that is there are two people. A kid, ironically, can literally be taught to hate their father and their father's girlfriend or wife, but somehow love their grandmother and grandfather on that father's side, who they may see or talk to less than their father and father's girlfriend or wife, right? Or they just acquiesce to women in general. Well, I hate you, Daddy. Oh, she's a woman. Hi. I'm assimilated to being on your side. You know what I'm saying? So we don't talk about that, And that's why, you see it in public where young women to old women swear they have this thing where they just gonna talk to a man a certain way and people gonna fall in line. And me as a grown man, I crack up at a lot of women who just start talking. Like, what the hell? Who you talking to? Like, you what? You don't run nobody or nothing. Like, what you thought? Because you can talk. You've been taught that you can talk to your son or your nephew or your daughter like this, and as a grown man, you gonna do this motherly thing, and I'm just gonna have a flashback and fall in line. Have you lost your mind? But this ideology spills into from childs to adults, because this is what single mother manipulation tactics. Add that category up and the people in it to some of the people and add all those together and see the percentage. And the fourth is the trying to manipulate your relationships. You can't see your kid if you with her or talking to her, or if you married to her, and if you're not single, and some guys don't even try their best not to even involve their girlfriends or wives in their relationships with their children. And it's part of the reason why some guys are bachelors, because they can't be in a stable relationship, because the minute their child's mother finds out they're in a stable relationship or they're happy in some kind of way, all of a sudden, I'm taking the child off the table. And people don't want to talk about that, or they didn't want the man, or it didn't work out with the man, and I don't like the happiness of your relationship. I don't like the lifestyle that you two are living together. I think that should be me in that space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the kid off the table. And until, and maybe you'll see your kid if y'all break up. Maybe you see your kid if y'all get divorced. Maybe you see your kid if it's enough strife in a relationship that maybe, I don't know, y'all split apart, and in some ways it opens the door for you because you're lonely, and maybe I can creep back in some way. You know what I mean? Manipulation tactics, right? Happens all the time. And everybody thinks all of these things are okay. Everybody thinks, and when I say okay, everybody is complicit, makes excuses for this type of behavior. And they say it's not all, but like I said, add all them four categories up and the situations in it, and add all of, and when you come to a number, if you know somebody in your circle, if you know 10, 20 single mothers in your circle, add up all of those types of things that I said. And when you go on your not all rant, or everybody not like that, see what number you get. And see how this affects their children and the fathers and the fathers' families. And you tell me, what's going on. So we out, man. Peace.